Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to my channel. Today, if this is your first time stopping by, thank you so much. I am so grateful to have you on my channel, and if you are a returning subscriber, I am so delighted to have you back once again on my channel. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel at this point, I'm not sure what you're waiting for. Just hurry up and subscribe to my channel. I promise you premium and wonderful content, and be sure to check out my previous content as well, as I'm sure that you will definitely find something worth interesting to watch, and you might just decide to stick around, and I know that you'll stick around. Anyway, so my name is Onyeka Asamaka, and I'm a Nigerian YouTuber. I live in London, Ontario, Canada. I share videos about my lifestyle here and there, immigration tips and nursing tips. I'm a nurse, by the way. Anyways, just check out my previous videos, as I'm sure that there must be something there for you, okay? So today's video, I'm sure you can tell by the thumbnail, I'm going to be talking about the best time to move to Canada. If you've already figured out the how and you're contemplating the when, this video is definitely for you. So even if you're already in Canada, just keep watching. I don't care. So if you're interested in knowing more about this topic, then keep watching and don't go anywhere. So guys, for today's video, I was just thinking about it in the spur of the moment. I didn't plan to film this video. I don't have any script or anything. I'm just going to say everything from my head. And what even led to this video was that I was just thinking, it's the beginning of fall right now, and I just started reminiscing at the time I came to Canada. I came 5 years ago around the same time, and I was like, oh god, how time flies. And I was just thinking about how I've been seeing a lot of students out around campus, like moving their things into their dormitory, moving into new apartments. I'm like, oh, this is really back to school season, and a lot of students are returning back to school this period too. I'm going to be talking about the different seasons in Canada, and I'll tell you my recommended season to move, but again, it's entirely up to you regardless. So you don't want to pay attention to this video. You can move whenever you want, okay? But yes, I'm still going to film this video regardless. So we're going to start with fall. So Canada has 4 seasons. We have the fall or autumn as per the UK. We have the winter, we have spring, and we have summer. So I'm going to be starting with fall, and fall starts somewhere in September, as we are now. So fall basically is like the sort of like the end of summer, the beginning of winter. So there's a mixture of like warm and cold. So at the beginning of fall, it's usually very warm, and then with some cold nights, and then later in the fall it can even snow, and then it's just really cooler, and then it's so beautiful. I feel like it's one of the most beautiful seasons that Canada has, because the leaves, they get really brown and fiery, and they just begin to fall, and then though it messes everywhere up, but in my opinion it's just so beautiful. I've tried to attach a clip of one time last year when I was driving down the highway, and I just saw this beautiful scenery, and I was like, ah, it's so beautiful. Fall, typically it's usually back to school season for people who are taking post-secondary education. A lot of people are resuming back on campuses now, and this is the most popular time for students to move to Canada. So if you are a student, this is the time where most universities begin classes in the fall, and at this time you tend to find a lot of students moving here and there. There are a lot of competition when it comes to student housing. That's if you're a student, and then if you're coming as a permanent resident, this particular time housing might be difficult to find, because there are a lot of people competing for these houses, because people are returning back to the city, especially if you're going to live in a city that has a college or university. You typically find housing competitions at this time. In terms of acclimatizing, this is a perfect way to acclimatize. So you're coming when it's quite warm, and then you're going to slowly ease into the winter. So you're not just going to be welcomed with the winter like that, like, you know, switching, especially if you're coming from a very warm place. You're not just going to switch from like hot and cold. You're going to be eased into it, and this was my case. So I wasn't like, oh, shocked with the cold or anything at first, because I slowly eased into the winter. So I kind of like fall. So next I'm going to be talking about winter. I'm not too sure, but I think winter is somewhere from end of November, early December to like March. And then winter, you don't really find most universities taking in students at this time. Typically you find some colleges taking students in January, but December, that's like the end of his semester. So I don't think you'll find student intake at that time. But if you're coming as a permanent resident, that's a different ball game. But if you're moving to Canada during this season, if you're coming from a cold country, then that's not a problem at all. You're just going to continue to what you're used to. But if you're coming from a tropical country like I am, I came from Nigeria, and honestly, I wouldn't advise people who like don't really like cold. For people who don't tolerate cold very well, I wouldn't really advise you to move during this season, mainly because it's very cold and they're usually winter storms. But mind you, winter is so beautiful as well. Like, it's so beautiful when it's like snowing and everywhere is just very white and very clean. But right before the snow plows take out the snow from the road, then it becomes messy and dirty. During winter, I find that it's hard, but it's not impossible. Like, if this is what you have to do, then by all means do it regardless. Well, this is just me giving my advice, okay? I moved places one time in, I think it was November, but there was a snowstorm, like in November. I had to drag like my heavy furniture through the snow to like the moving truck. It was so messy and so disgusting. I really did not like it, but I remember it was such a risky move for me that day, but I had to do it. So coming in the winter, you just need to properly gear up and get your jackets, your socks, your head warmers, your everything, and prepare for the weather. But if you're coming as a first timer, I feel like it's going to be hard, especially if you have to like house hunt and you don't have a car. And even if you have a car, you need to adjust to driving in the snow, especially if you haven't done that before. I definitely wouldn't advise you to start driving in the snow, but if you can, or if you must, then by all means. Yeah, so you have to get the proper gears to wear and just try to readjust. But it's not going to be fun for you waiting in long queues, trying to get your social insurance number, trying to get a house, trying to get bank account open. Like, all of these things in the winter is not funny. So if that's what you have to do, fine. But if you can avoid it, try to move in a season where it's not crazy, okay? So next we're going to be talking about spring. Spring is not my favorite weather, but if you're coming from somewhere like Nigeria, it's like Nigeria because it's always so rainy. But beginning of spring can be cold since it's just like the end of winter, and you can have flash snows sometimes. But spring is also a great time to move to Canada. Like, you're going to experience a bit of cold, but not too cold, because there's rarely going to be snow on the ground anymore, but the weather is still going to be very chilly. And it's not a bad idea to move during this time, but I would definitely advise you to choose spring over winter. But again, if whatever you're doing calls for whenever you need to move, then by all means. Again, I feel like at this time you find a lot of accommodations available because students are ending their semesters and they are moving back home or moving elsewhere, so there are a lot of available accommodations at this time. So this is pretty easy if you're coming as a PR or you're coming as a student, and then you're just gearing up towards the summer. So next we're going to be talking about summer, which is my favorite season because it's summer, is warm, and this is what I've known my whole life and I like it. So for summer, if you're going to resume in September, some people like to come a few weeks or months earlier, which is what I wish I did to just acclimatize with the system before starting school. But guys, I came like 2 days before classes. It was crazy. But yeah, coming in the summer is such a wonderful thing to do if you're able to do it. You find accommodations pretty easy to get as well, and this is the best time for moving. There are lots of rentals available and sale of houses, and people are also coming back to get houses on time. So there might be a bit of competition here and there, but you shouldn't be too crazy. There are a lot of fun activities to do, so I feel like if you're landing at this time, it's going to be perfect for you because you will get acclimatized just right before the cold season begins to set in. There's so many wonderful things happening during the season. It's fun, it's vibrant, it's wonderful. But again, it depends on where you're moving to. I recall I used to live in Vancouver, by the way, about 4 years ago. I lived there for like a year and a half, and I remember when it was summer, I was like, okay, I'm still waiting for that summer to come. Like, I was waiting for that hot, that humid air. That's September came and I did not see sun. No. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, we got the heat like maybe 3 times for the entire season, but to some people, like, it was perfect. But for me, I was looking for that hot, scorching summer. I didn't find it. So Vancouver is kind of like cold. It's kind of like cool, like you always want to have like a fleece or a jacket with you, but down here in Ontario, because I live in Ontario, sometimes we can get pretty hot summers, okay? But this year I find that we didn't get that much summer because it was raining most of the time. So it was like summer with a dash of spring. Anyways, back to what I was saying. So summer is an amazing time to move to Canada if that's what you're thinking about. And then I think this covers all 4 seasons, and fall starts again. So yeah, so for me, you can already tell I love summer. I wished I moved during summer, but I think because of my school obligation, fall was when I had to move to Canada, and it was also a wonderful time to move because the weather was still a bit warm and then the cold started to set in. So just let me know in the comment section what time you moved to Canada. How was it for you? Was it difficult? Was it easy for you to find a house? Like, just let me know your experiences in the comment section and what you would advise someone to do if you're coming. Okay, so thank you guys for watching my video. I really do appreciate you guys for sticking with me this long. And yeah, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Do not forget to subscribe, share, and like this video. Okay, so take care and be safe. Bye.